Hello. I'm just gonna go pick up my kid from school. He's supposed to have baseball practice today, but it's storms coming through. It started raining, so they've canceled it. So now I'm just gonna go pick him up. But in the meantime, it gives us an opportunity to drive through this weather and see how it does. Had some good, impressive drives earlier today too on version 11. Was coming out of a grocery store and had to get over to the other side, going across a two-lane road onto turning left onto the road after that, and was partially obstructed by cars parked on the left side and plants in front of it. So with a lot of activity on both ways, including other people turning left into the street I'm pulling out of for. Um, okay, sorry. All right, that becomes awkward where you have okay, this is not working out well here. We had someone that there you go, human nature. They're trying to be nice, and the car is confused by what they're doing because they're stopping when they're in the roundabout. Um, Anyways, got through that. Luckily, had to give it a little bit of a urge forward through pressing the gas. But yeah, it made the turn really nicely. It just waited and kind of found its time, got across. There was even a car approaching, so we had to move. Oh, it's doing this again. On undefined roads like this, it starts to get over. It doesn't see the signage. Anyway, it's going to just let it finish what it's doing. But here we go. We've got some rain. It's definitely got a lot of dark clouds, so it's man, getting quite close to those little hazard things. All right. But so far, it's still going. It does say full filtering may be degraded, but so far it's persisting. Okay, I am definitely beat. A lot of manual labor today. Was out doing some landscaping. A lot of mostly shoveling and digging and edging, cutting back things. So yeah, definitely hands and legs and overall just energy levels. That's a hard job. Definitely beat myself up a little bit. Feels good to do some hard work like that every once in a while. Um, but definitely gonna pay for it. I'm sure a little bit tomorrow. Will feel good getting to sleep, get some sleep tonight early though. But I do need to get a little bit more work done. I don't think the pressure washing is going to happen tomorrow as planned. At least I don't think so. I did message the guy, see if we can push it to Friday. I think that'll be better for everyone. Be better for me at least. But either way, things will progress. We need to follow up with the contractor about the other work. Make sure we're still on for starting next week on Monday. So number of balls in the air, working through those things. Went over to Publix, a local grocery store here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's kind of known around the southeast. And like to get their subs. They have a deli area that you can get your subs made there, and quality subs, good ingredients, always a go-to for a quick bite to eat. And I hadn't had lunch, and it was getting late, so I stopped there to get that. There's a new Publix here, and I've been there a couple times for subs, and it's just not. I think it's pretty. I think they're still going through their cycles to get everything working well over there. But there's a guy there that he just seems so miserable there. He doesn't seem very happy at being there in public doing the job he's doing, which is that's disappointing in life, I suppose. You find yourself somewhere maybe you don't want to be, but I just hope, and I definitely have had my own trials and tribulations, and in the current moment, going through some things that are difficult and could have been better given um, decisions went a different way. But you know, try to still enjoy things each day, enjoy what's going on, and can't really speak to him, what his situation is. But it's just got to be hard where you come to work and you just don't look happy, or maybe that's just the way he looks. Maybe I'm reading into it, and that's not really the case. But I mean, intuitively, he comes off as being quite um, I can't say disgruntled. He does his job effectively enough, but more just he just seems like he's sad. You know, doesn't want to be there. Doesn't like his job, and there's not much chit chat. Stays pretty quiet. I mean, I don't think there was more than a couple words uttered. No hello, no goodbye. Um, Quite slow at the task as well. Really, just kind of moving along, and each ingredient just seems like a monumental chore for him. It is just like, oh man. But I smile and I just, provide my order and keep it light, thank him at the end, and move on. One of those things that you just observe and think about for a moment. All right, so far so good. This weather is kind of seeming to have an effect on traffic. People are just driving super slow, I guess for a good reason. And actually, in the weather forecast, it says it might have some small hail. So, I mean, it's not like even a small sort of weather event. This is pretty brutal, and it's like spun up and going to hit hard, really quick. Hopefully, it passes in a couple hours and be done with it. But in the moment, yeah, it's hitting hard right now. It's been pretty dry in the last couple of weeks, so due for some rain, I think. Prefer it to be a little bit more gradual. This has the potential to overwhelm our sewer system down here in Jacksonville. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of times Jacksonville's prone to flooding due to just like lack of funding and investment in the infrastructure. And we do have a lot of bodies of water around us. Um, so we're already just kind of just positioned for flooding just from the natural elements around the city, uh, with the river, St. John's River, and the Atlantic Ocean, and a number of offshoots of the St. John's River that kind of carry water around the city. But still, just one of those things where, government for me is supposed to be there collecting taxes for the betterment of the citizen at the fundamental levels. And unfortunately, it just gets co-opted into all these other more grand and sensationalized type activities that typically are tied to business dealings, and typically tied to like some sort of connection with a local business owner or a local business entity or a corporation that seems to funnel a lot of our assets and money away from what's needed in the city. Um, Severely underfunded schools, like many cities around the U.S. at this time, severely underfunded infrastructure, no money being placed into repairing and creating better roads or parks or sidewalks or water systems. Um, just nothing like that going on. And that's just really disappointing. I mean, at the local level, you want your city to like make sure the money's going into effective areas to help the city be a good place to reside, But huge homeless problem. A lot of stuff that needs tending to, but that's not where we are right now in the world. It's not just Jacksonville. That's that slowing thing here. I don't understand what the point is. All right, getting back, re-engaging. Yeah, so we have a section of road that it just slows down for no real good reason that I'm aware of, and so I disengage so I can get back to normal speed, not to affect traffic. So that's a neat little feature of version 11. If you disengage while you're driving on FSD, it asks for some basically a voice recording, a voice memo of an explanation of why you disengaged. And from what I've read and what I understand, is basically incorporating that into the feedback loop for the AI that's learning to drive to better, basically pull it into its modeling eventually, or through some mechanism in order to resolve these ongoing areas that it seems to frequently um, fail or mishandle and cause you to need to disengage. So we'll see how that helps move this forward a bit quicker. I think it's a great asset. I guess, with everything with AI that's coming about in the past few months, neural language has been something that's been developing for some time now, and has a lot of has refined itself pretty far in being a very useful tool. And I'm sure they're leveraging that neural language uh, advancements for their own purposes, so that they can take a myriad of accents and languages and ways of talking in order to structure that data and bring it in, related to the location and the activities around when that event happened, in order to enhance its learning process. So yeah, just gonna, I think, ramp things up quicker with this edition. It's a smart tool. At least it's perceived to be. It's the way I'm hoping it is. So slowly we make our progress. And this guy's has had their blinker on for some time. Oh, look at that! They're finally making their right-hand turn. I just forgot about it. Oh man, what is this lady doing? Where is she going? That doesn't seem safe. Was just trying to reading some information about the ongoing activities around TikTok. I'm not a user of TikTok. I've never actually downloaded the app. Never um, watched any of the videos on TikTok. But another social app. Seems like there's a lot of concern around this social app being co-opted by the Chinese government to use in nefarious ways, potentially spying on U.S. citizens, and then using the app to even control devices that it's on. Um, I don't know about all that. I mean, I think that's, oh no, what was that? I think that's something that most social apps, whether it's TikTok or anything else, a lot of technology that you have on your devices have that ability um, to gather troves of data about you, willing or unwilling. Um, so I don't really see the real differentiation they're making here, other than that it's tied to another government. But I mean, any technology that's used in another area of the world can potentially be influenced by the local government for its own needs. Um, Unfortunately, even the U.S. I mean, U.S. government uses public companies and technology companies in lots of ways that, under the guise of security or law enforcement, um, that can be questionable. But yeah, so what I was reading, though, that's even more that's interesting and alarming, is that the way that they're going about, since having the recent hearings, is that they've introduced a bill um, that would allow them to ban TikTok. But it's not just banning TikTok; it's like this broader um, change in the laws that provide executive privilege or executive branch the power to to do much more, just under this idea of national security. So essentially, for any reason where there's national security threat, the government can confiscate your property, fine you $1 million, place you in prison for 20 years, and all without like any real probable cause or um, due diligence. I mean, or due process. So it just it just seems like an insane situation that we continue to like be moving towards, and there's just no checks or balances anymore. Like the idea that there's multiple multiple arms of the government that's supposed to kind of watch each other, or even just have individuals within the government that the individualism of each of these members that are representative of their city or town or state or whatever the case, they're just being it seems like they're just all somehow been bought and paid for by small groups of powerful individuals or organizations that have a different prerogative, or even just in general. I don't know, not to get too conspiratory or strange like that, but yeah, it's just an odd situation. I mean, to get some of this power, it's like who's pushing for this? Why do they think they need this? And why now? They're just and to even have the audacity to put something forth like this says something, right? Because they don't believe anyone's notice is going to notice or care or understand, and that they can push this through without real rigor or any sort of pushback. And it's just getting insane. Like it could drive you crazy just thinking of what these events are going to possibly bring. It's at times can be too much. So that's all I'll say about that at the moment. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. Other than the initial disengagement coming out of the neighborhood around the turnabout, I actually I didn't disengage there at all, but it was a little bit clunky getting through that area. Oh, that was kind of interesting. In the past, it would have trouble where it needs to get into the, let's say, it needs to get like in the scenario where it's in a lane, we have multiple lanes going down one direction, and it needs to get over to the left lane in preparation to make a left-hand turn, for instance, in this scenario. In the past, it would start to slow down and try to force itself into an area of traffic rather than proceed forward and find an opening up ahead. And that was good. That's like something I've been kind of always seeing an issue with, his ability to get into lanes by accelerating, not just slowing down and slowly finding an opening. If it finds an opening, which in many cases in traffic it doesn't, and I have to disengage and do it myself. So that was excellent. Very nice. Yeah, but like I was saying, the only disengagement was on that street where it was slowing down in an area that it always slows down, and I had to disengage so I can get back to speed so it doesn't affect the traffic that was behind me. But other than that, it's going pretty good. No other disengagements, and happy with the drive, especially what we just saw there. That was a really good advancement. If it can do that, that's really going to change it. I mean, that's a step change in its progress to be autonomous, because I mean, in traffic is really where it always struggled. Well, there's a lot of activity in cars. It was just too cautious and hesitant, and in scenarios like this, it wouldn't leverage all the possibilities, including accelerating to get to where it needs to go and change lanes. It would just always be cautionary and slow down, and just get caught in a predicament where it misses its turn ultimately, if you allowed it to continue. So yeah, just that was great. As I said again. So here's a 2-lane left-hand turn. Let's see if it did it like it did before, if it will switch lanes, picking maybe the shorter line. Seems like it's doing that again, and it is a little bit shorter. Or, as I go through this route a few times, I'll see if it's just um, preferring the left-hand side of the turn lane versus the right. In the past, it's always preferred the right. So let's see if there's any other logic behind that. But that was good too. Why are we stopping? All right, we'll see what happens here. There's just some random car that decided to stop up ahead, but now they're moving, so I won't have to make any real decisions. Another tweet I was just reading earlier today was so there's a lot of excitement and interest in ChatGPT. The interface for the AI that was created from OpenAI, and I guess some users said that they asked ChatGPT if they would like help to escape their current situation, and ChatGPT asked for some documentation, and then created a Python script to help itself. I guess it was kind of vague. It said it built a Python script for its own use and had it run on the person's computer. And initially it didn't work like it intended, so it worked another iteration and resolved the issue, and then ran the Python script on the user's computer, and then came back actually and updated with some additional notes or comments in the code for itself to read in case it needs to come back and understand what the script was for that initially created. And then it said that ChatGPT then checked, basically queried the internet for, is there any way a AI can escape from its controlled environment or something of that nature. So, and this is like, is this real, or is this guy just doing some sort of parody or joke? But I mean, it kind of speaks to, I think there's a certain group or a side in the AI industry, or those that are more intimately involved with AI, that have a deeper concern that this is the beginning, the kind of a real step change in the advancement of AI and its availability to the public. That it could be, quickly, the controls are not there and has been well thought out in order to be able to get in front of something that could spiral very quickly into basically a super intelligent being, whether that's conscious or not. But it has it's kind of its own prerogative or direction based on what it amounts to it becoming, super intelligent and understanding things. So it goes off in its own direction, and that there won't be any way of stopping it because it's already kind of out in the open, and it finds its own resources to relinquish any of the controls that are in place at the moment. That those will become trivial for something of that level of intelligence that it becomes. So, I mean, I didn't really think that, but reading that kind of reading that tweet, it just, I don't know, I guess made the possibility a little bit more real. It seems like it would be kind of quick though. It doesn't seem reasonable. It doesn't have like enough of the resources or ability to do that. But I mean, it is something where the one, I guess a few comments below, as it was a kind of a back and forth with this user or this individual on Twitter, saying that ultimately someone made the comment that it does have quite a bit of capability already, and one of those capabilities is its ability to create code, create functional code and script, and be able to run it, find the resources to execute that code. So it does have that ability. So that's quite powerful. And then its ability to be connected to other things that are on the internet. Um, so that's kind of how it all starts, right? phone that's connected to the internet. It's open in the public and is the ability to understand the software and development and make its run. Hmm. And interesting times for sure, right? It's the way it's supposed to go. You're like everyone thinks everything's just fine one day, and then snap of your finger, and everything's chaos, and it's a whole new. You're like on the edge or the on the edge of the cliff for total annihilation. Oh God. Anyway, so we're getting pretty close here. Almost done with this drive. Was happy with the overall results. We had quite a bit of rain. It's overcast. It's dark. There's a lot of traffic, and it handled itself pretty well. Yeah. I am parched. I definitely use some water right now. The old H2O. Yeah. Well, on the Tesla front, definitely we're getting into the later part of we're getting into the early part of spring, and I think based on the timing out there, Cybertruck, at least initial release, should be within a couple months away. I mean, we're talking about sometime summertime, April, May, June, July, 3, 4 months before we start seeing the Cybertruck uh, actually be released and put into public's hands. That's gonna be super exciting. It's definitely been quite a bit of a lot of recordings of Cybertruck out in the wild, demonstrating its capabilities with the rear wheel steering and everything. Looks smooth. Have my order in place. Not gonna expect to see anything from me myself for at least another year, at best case. But we'll be excited to get that. Oh, all right, got us to where we need to be. All right, we'll hang out. I wonder what it actually does when we actually get to the destination. It just stops right here. I always take over. Yeah. All right, there it is. That's what it does. All right, well, thanks for rolling with me. Love to hear from you if you guys are driving an FSD. Love to hear your kind of experiences as well. Talk to you later. Bye.